When Liam installed a camera to find out why his dog stared at a fixed point for days, he didn't expect to see such startling images. The figure that flashed across the footage prompted him to dig a hole in the wall to uncover what lay behind it. When the mystery was revealed, Liam burst into tears. On a quiet autumn afternoon, the sun cast a golden glow through the streets of the small town of Willowdale. Liam, a young programmer who had recently traded the hustle and bustle of the metropolis for the serenity of the countryside, gazed out the window of his new home, soaking in the tranquility that surrounded him. At just 29 years old, his life had been a series of rapid changes and impulsive decisions, but this latest one seemed to be the best one so far. Liam wasn't entirely alone on his new journey. By his side, lying on an old rug, was Milo, a black-furred dog with eyes so expressive they seemed to reflect deep thoughts. Milo had entered Liam's life like a ray of hope, a companion rescued from the local shelter, who, with his peculiar and loyal ways, quickly became more than just a pet. He became a friend. In recent days, however, Milo's strange behavior had begun to disturb Liam's newfound peace. The dog would spend hours staring fixedly at a specific spot on the living room wall. At first, Liam found it amusing, even intriguing, but as the days passed, his curiosity turned into concern. "Milo, what's with this wall?" Liam asked, approaching to examine the spot Milo was fixated on. There was nothing obvious there, just a smooth expanse painted light blue without any signs of dampness, cracks, or any other visible defect. For a moment, Liam crouched down beside Milo, trying to see the world through his companion's eyes. "Are you seeing something I'm not, buddy?" he questioned, half serious, half jokingly. Milo merely looked at him with those big eyes and then returned his gaze to the wall as if understanding the urgency of his silent mission. Determined to unravel this mystery, Liam ran his hand over the cold surface of the wall. "Maybe it's some kind of infestation," he pondered aloud. The idea of hidden insects in the structure of his new home was anything but pleasant. He tapped lightly on the wall, listening. Everything seemed normal, but then a faint sound, almost like scratching, reached his ears. "Did you hear that, Milo?" he whispered, surprised to see the dog's reaction. Milo's ears perked up, and his tail wagged slightly as if to encourage Liam to keep looking. Encouraged by Milo's silent support, Liam decided it was time to investigate further. After all, he thought it wasn't just the wall that was hiding secrets, but perhaps through it, he could uncover more about the mysterious world of his new canine friend. With this resolution, Liam didn't know he was about to uncover something that would go far beyond anything he could imagine. The next day, the sky over Willowdale dawned cloudy, heavy clouds promising rain. Inside Liam's quiet home, the atmosphere was charged with silent anticipation. Milo wasted no time in returning to his post in front of the wall, his posture rigid and focused. Liam watched for a moment, then with firm resolve, he grabbed a flashlight from the kitchen drawer. "Let's see what's behind your mystery, Milo," he said, feeling a mixture of excitement and a slight tremor of anxiety. Crouching down beside Milo, Liam began to inspect the wall more closely. He slowly moved the flashlight over the blue paint, the light revealing every tiny detail of the wall's texture. Nothing seemed out of the ordinary until a small scratch caught his attention. Liam focused the light on that area, his brow furrowing in confusion. The scratch was subtle, almost imperceptible, but definite. He ran his fingers delicately over it, feeling the slight roughness beneath his fingertips. Milo, by his side, watched every move with intensity as if understanding the importance of what they were doing. Intrigued, Liam decided to try something. He tapped lightly on the wall, first near the scratch, then at various points around it. In one spot, specifically, lower down, the sound was notably different, more hollow, less solid. "Did you hear that, Milo?" Liam whispered, his voice tinged with surprise and a hint of nervousness. Milo looked at him with big eyes, as if encouraging Liam to investigate further. Excited by this discovery, Liam pressed his ear against the wall, listening intently. There it was again, a soft sound, almost like scratching, coming from behind the plaster. It was almost imperceptible, but it was there. A shiver ran down Liam's spine. "Milo, there's something behind this wall," he said, not entirely sure if he was more frightened or fascinated. Milo responded with a low bark, his tail wagging once, firm and deliberate. Determined to uncover what was hidden, Liam went to the garage to fetch some tools. He returned with a small hammer and a chisel, taking a deep breath, preparing for whatever he might find. With Milo watching closely, he positioned the chisel against the wall and gave it a careful tap with the hammer. The plaster gave way a little. "Here we go, Milo. Let's uncover your secret," Liam spoke, his voice a mixture of determination and hesitation. He had never done anything like this before, but curiosity and concern for what might be affecting Milo gave him the courage to continue. With each tap, a piece of the wall came loose, revealing more of the mystery Milo had discovered. Liam could only hope he was prepared for the truth behind the blue wall. After carefully removing a few more pieces of plaster, Liam began to realize that the space behind the wall was larger than he had imagined. The darkness concealed the details, and the beam of his flashlight seemed almost swallowed by the shadow. Milo, with his head held high, watched every move, his focus intense and unwavering. With his heart beating a little faster, Liam widened the hole enough to fit his head and the flashlight through. The cold, stagnant air of the hidden space brushed his face, carrying a faint smell of mold and something else, something he couldn't immediately identify. The flashlight revealed a small cavity, perhaps a remnant of old plumbing or an unfinished renovation, now just a hiding place for dust and cobwebs. Determined to investigate further, Liam set up a small night vision security camera pointing into the opening. He wanted to know if there was something or someone using that space, something that could explain Milo's fixation. Night fell over Willowdale, and the rain finally began to fall, gently pattering against the windows of the room. Inside, the silence was only broken by the occasional sound of rain and the soft click of the camera that Liam had set up to record any movement. Liam spent the restless night getting up several times to check the camera. Milo also seemed restless, alternating between dozing off and staring at the wall with sharp attention. Finally, in the dead of night, the camera captured something. The alert on Liam's phone woke him up, and he hurried to check the images. What he saw first was a shadow passing quickly through the camera's field of view. His heart skipped a beat. He paused the video, rewound it, and watched again. There was definitely something there, something small and fast, too fast to be just an illusion. "Milo, you were right all along," Liam murmured, looking at the dog who responded with a low bark, almost as if he were pleased that his persistence had been validated. Intrigued and a little nervous, Liam decided he needed help. The next morning, he called a friend who worked in construction and renovations. "Ben, I need a favor. Can you come take a look at something strange in my house?" He quickly explained the situation, omitting for now the part about Milo being the discoverer of the mystery. When Ben arrived, armed with more appropriate tools and a curiosity as sharp as Liam's, they prepared to explore the mystery that Milo had discovered. What they would find there could simply be the result of a quirk of the house's construction or something truly unexpected. "Ready to find out what's hidden behind your wall?" Ben asked as he prepared the equipment. "Absolutely," Liam replied, though his voice betrayed a slight hesitation. "But something tells me we're about to uncover something more surprising than just old pipes." Milo, sitting beside them, wagged his tail as if agreeing and encouraging the two to proceed with the discovery. With the daylight filtering gently through the curtains, Liam and Ben prepared for a more detailed investigation of the mysterious space behind the wall. Ben had brought a small inspection camera, a device with a long flexible cable and a small light on the end, ideal for exploring narrow and dark spaces. "Let's see what we can find," said Ben as he carefully inserted the camera into the hole Liam had widened. The screen connected to the camera showed a grainy view of the inside of the wall. For a moment, all that was visible was darkness and dust dancing in the camera's beam of light. Milo watched attentively beside Liam, as if understanding the importance of what they were doing. With each movement of the camera, the two men leaned forward, anticipating what might appear on the screen. Suddenly, the camera captured something that made Liam and Ben look at each other in surprise. There was a small opening at the back of the wall space, almost like a hidden entrance. "Looks like there's more than just empty space there," commented Ben, adjusting the camera for a better view. Adjusting the focus, the light revealed a space that seemed to be a small cavity, possibly an old hiding place or niche forgotten during a previous renovation. Inside the cavity, something glimmered faintly when touched by the light. "Do you see that?" Liam asked, his voice low, almost a whisper, pointing to the screen where a small object reflected the light. "Yeah, looks like there's something there," Ben agreed, maneuvering the camera to get a better view. The object was small and circular with a metallic gleam. It looked like a coin or medallion, something definitely out of the ordinary to be hidden inside a wall. Intrigued and now more curious than ever, Liam looked at Milo, who still stared at the wall. "Good job, boy," he murmured, giving the dog a pat on the head, who responded with a slight wag of his tail. Determined to retrieve the mysterious object, Liam enlisted Ben's help to carefully remove more parts of the wall around the cavity. Working together with appropriate tools, they managed to create an opening large enough for Liam to reach in. Liam's heart was beating fast as he reached into the cavity. His hand found the cold metallic object, and he pulled it out, bringing with it a cloud of ancient dust. Holding the object now in their hands, Liam and Ben examined it under the brighter light of the room. It was indeed an old medallion, heavy and covered with inscriptions that neither of them could immediately decipher. The metal had an aged patina, and there were symbols engraved on the surface that suggested the medallion might have been part of some kind of ceremony or family heirloom. "This is definitely worth investigating," Ben observed, equally fascinated by the find. "You may have stumbled upon a piece of local history here." Liam agreed, still amazed by the discovery and grateful for Milo's unexpected help. "Let's see if we can find out more about this," he said, determined to explore the history of the medallion and why it had been hidden in that wall. As they planned their next steps, Milo lay down on the floor, clearly pleased with the excitement of the day. He had sparked an adventure that none of them expected when the day began. Liam and Ben continued to investigate the hiding place found in the wall. As they examined the ancient medallion, a faint sound, which until then might have been overlooked due to the focus on the metallic object, began to become more noticeable. It was a soft, almost muffled meow coming from the same hidden space where they had found the medallion. Liam froze, the medallion still in his hand, and looked at Ben. "Did you hear that?" he asked, his voice filled with surprise and concern. Ben, who also heard the sound, nodded. "Sounds like there's something alive in there." Milo, who until then seemed relaxed, suddenly became alert again and started to bark softly towards the opening in the wall. Encouraged by Milo's reaction, Liam approached the wall again, flashlight in one hand and the medallion in the other. Carefully, he illuminated the inside of the hidden space, moving the light until a beam caught a pair of reflective eyes shining in the darkness. A small cat, clearly frightened and confused, was huddled in the farthest corner of the cavity. "My God, it's a kitten!" Liam exclaimed, a mixture of relief and urgency in his voice. "How did he end up in there?" Ben, less surprised but equally concerned, grabbed a pair of gloves from his toolbox. "Let's get him out of there. He looks scared and probably hungry." Liam, careful not to further frighten the little feline, reached out to pick him up. The cat, after a moment of hesitation, seemed to recognize the intention of help and allowed Liam to pick him up gently. Holding the cat against his chest, Liam emerged from the opening and placed him on the floor of the room. Milo, curious, approached slowly and sniffed the cat, who initially arched his body but soon relaxed, realizing there was no danger. "Let's take him to the vet," suggested Ben, watching the cat begin to explore the room timidly. "He needs a checkup, and we need to find out if he has an owner." Liam nodded, still surprised by the day's events. "Yes, let's do that. And we also need to find out more about this medallion and how both ended up inside that wall." After arranging a carrier box for the cat and ensuring the medallion was secure, Liam and Ben, with Milo and the newly rescued cat in tow, headed to the car. The sky over Willowdale, once clouded, was beginning to clear, as if the mystery of the wall and the kitten rescue brought not only a new friend for Liam and Milo, but also a new chapter of discoveries and adventures for all of them. Arriving at the veterinarian, the kitten was promptly attended to. The vet, Dr. Carter, was a middle-aged man with a gentle gaze and skilled hands who examined the little feline with care and affection. "He's a bit dehydrated and hungry, but otherwise he seems healthy," Dr. Carter informed Liam after a series of tests. "Do you know if he has an owner?" Liam asked, hopeful that the cat had a home to return to. "No microchip, and he doesn't have a collar. He seems to be a stray kitten, but he's quite friendly, which indicates he had positive human contact before," explained Dr. Carter. Liam looked at the kitten playing with a paper ball on the floor of the office. "Looks like we have a new member of the family," he said, smiling as Milo, who had followed the whole process with protective interest, wagged his tail. Dr. Carter smiled. "He's lucky you found him. It seems like he and Milo are already getting along well." Back at home, Liam set up a comfortable corner for the kitten with a bed, food, and water. Milo watched every move, making sure his new friend was comfortable. The adaptation was surprisingly easy. The kitten, whom Liam decided to name Whiskers, quickly felt at home, exploring every corner with childish curiosity and playing with Milo as if they had always been siblings. In the days that followed, while Whiskers adjusted to his new life, Liam dedicated himself to learning more about the mysterious medallion. Online research and consultations with local history experts suggested that the object could be part of a set of historical artifacts from the region, possibly related to some important family from the past. Intrigued by the possibility of having found something of significant historical value, Liam contacted a local university with a department specializing in archaeology and local history. The experts expressed great interest and scheduled a visit to see the medallion and explore the origin and significance of the hiding place in the wall. When the day of the visit arrived, the experts confirmed that the medallion was indeed a significant historical artifact, likely hidden as part of a tradition to protect valuables during times of conflict in the region. The discovery not only enriched Willowdale's historical knowledge, but also put the small town on the map for scholars and history enthusiasts. Liam, dealing with the repercussions of his discovery, felt grateful for the role Milo and, indirectly, Whiskers played in bringing to light a forgotten piece of history. As he watched Milo and Whiskers sleeping peacefully side by side, Liam reflected on how life in Willowdale had become much more interesting and rewarding than he ever could have imagined. With the house now full of life and secrets uncovered, Liam felt more at home than ever. He knew that adventures with Milo and Whiskers were just beginning, and he looked forward to every new discovery the future might bring. What an incredible story! If you enjoyed this video and want to see more, don't forget to hit that like button, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so please leave a comment below. See you in the next video.